My ops, be warned, I am fully prepared for the gym today. My microphone is charged. My phone is charged. The only thing that I am not sure of is my headphones. But be warned. Be warned. We are ready. Had a bit of an interesting morning this morning. Rest in peace to my blender. I'm pretty sure that some internal component, like, spontaneously combusted while I was making my morning smoothie. I make the same smoothie for breakfast like every day. And this morning when I went to make it, I put it all in the little blender, put the blender on the base, started hitting blend, and I don't know, like 5 to 10, almost immediately, I could smell something like burning. And I was like, man, it smells like burning plastic. And as time went on, the smell just kind of got more intense, but I didn't see any smoke. So I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, should have been a dead giveaway. Just it smelled like burning. And then as soon as the little blending cycle ended, it's a Ninja blender, so I don't know if you're familiar with like what the base looks like, but there's like a little vent on the back because apparently there's like a freaking 10 horsepower motor in that thing, and um, so the little vent on the back, as soon as the blending stopped, smoke started coming out the back where what the exhaust would be, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I That was enough for me to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go put this thing outside in the driveway and just hope that it doesn't burst into flames. It was not hot to the touch, which I thought was a little weird for there to be smoke coming out of it, but it wasn't like there was no heat. I was able to pick it up no problem. So I thought that was a little odd, but I mean, I guess regardless. So I guess after work today, I'll be going to buy a new blender because I make that smoothie every day and I need it. So I guess I'm gonna go spend another $200 on a friggin' blender. But anyways, that was my morning so far. It's been interesting, but you know, there's always room for it to get even more interesting, I suppose. Hopefully, it doesn't get too interesting, but we'll see. We will see. I did end up drinking the smoothie. The smoothie was blended, so usually I'll run 2 cycles on the blender just to like really blend it up. Um, and I just did the one this morning, and then was like, yeah, you know what, this thing's about to catch fire, so maybe I won't do a second cycle. So I didn't, and we just did the one, but it was fine. It was fine. It was a little thick. It was a little thick, so I guess that second cycle does do something because this one cycle it was a very thick smoothie. I kind of had to stir it up and just kind of try to get it liquefied. Anyways, enough about my smoothie. We're here to talk about the gym, um, or whatever we want, I guess. Could be the smoothie, but we're going to talk about the gym now. So we're shifting gears here. Uh, let's see. Had microphone difficulties on Tuesday. That was a bit of a bummer. Or was it Tuesday? Or was it Monday? I think it was Tuesday. Either way, was off from the gym yesterday. My legs are still kind of sore from the high rocks. Surprisingly, Tuesday's lift, I think I mentioned in the video, was pretty rough. The 395 for a double. The second rep was a bit of a grinder. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but that rep did slow down quite a bit. So legs are still a little sore. I was gonna run yesterday, but I decided after leg day on Tuesday and how rough that was and how rough my legs still felt, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna rush into it. So I might try to run this weekend, but I think either way, I'm gonna pick back up running on Monday for sure at the latest, and that'll just be like a really easy sort of, um, you know, I don't know, 5K maybe. It's not gonna be anything super crazy if I even go that far. It might be a 2 miler. Who knows? Just to kind of ease back into things. But so there's that, and then today, dude, we got today's a upper body day. Today we've got secondary bench, and I guess if you want to call it tertiary bench as well. I guess this will technically be the third and fourth variations of bench that I do this week because I do regular comp bench on Monday, and then my secondary lift, bench lift, is same day. It's close grip bench. And then, so that means today, Larson press is going to be my tertiary bench. And that means that incline bench will be my quaternary bench. I don't know if that's not a word. I don't think I just made that up. I don't know what the fourth level, like secondary, tertiary, I don't know what comes after that. So my fourth bench variation of the week would be incline. So, which will be done today as well. And then, yeah, we got some upper body accessories. I'm excited to kind of get a pump today because I haven't really gotten a pump so far this week. I've been kind of rushed on time. And then on Monday, I think I was a little tight on time for some reason on Monday. And then Tuesday, I did my squats and then I didn't even do my RDLs. I just squatted and then left. So my legs were cooked. I wasn't going to cook them further and get them nice and well done by just maxing out accessories. I thought I'd give them a bit of a break. So I didn't really get a pump on Tuesday either. It was just kind of a strength focused day. I hit my my top set and then my pause squats, and then didn't do anything yesterday. So today is really the first day this week that I will be able to get a pump, hopefully, which would be fun. That'd be great. I like getting pumps. I think I've gone over it in previous videos why at least on a couple of movements, I kind of chase the pump, because I mean, who doesn't like the feeling of a pump, first of all, right? Who doesn't like that warm hug feeling you get when your biceps and triceps are like ready to just bust out through your skin, ripping through your favorite t-shirt, skin feels tight. Like, who doesn't like that, first of all, right? The feeling is just great. But secondly, a byproduct of that is, increased gains, right? Increased gains. When you push your sets harder and closer to failure or to failure, the byproduct of doing that is not only the pump, but an increase in gains, strength and size. So it's a double benefit here. And like I said, I don't do that every set. I don't do that every set of my accessories. I don't go to failure on every compound set that I do. As a matter of fact, I rarely ever go to failure on my compounds. I really, the only time I would even think about approaching failure would be on, like a heavy single, like at meet day, or like a mock meet in the gym, or if I'm programmed to do, test maxes or heavy doubles at the end of a block, or at the end of a program, rather. Like, sorry, I'm trying not to cough into the microphone, get a little confused about which way to cough. But yeah, I don't ever really go to failure on compounds, and you shouldn't either. I say that as I'm probably going to go to failure on incline bench today, but that's after my working sets. It's with a lighter weight. I'm not loading up my max on incline bench and then just repping it out until I drop the bar on my chest. It's I'm going to do 135, which is like, 60%, and then I'm just going to rep it out as many as I can. But all that to say that you should not be in the gym maxing out anything over like, 80%, 70% on a regular basis. It just builds too much fatigue. You're not going to make progress that way. And yeah, but we do it with the accessories because isolation exercises, are far less fatiguing on your body and on your muscles. But you can still build a nasty pump with them if you do them right. And I only do, 1 to 2 exercises per day. So even if I'm doing 2 exercises per day, that's only 8 exercises per week. And usually they're with different muscle groups, right? I do leg day. I do 2 upper body days. I have 1 leg day and then like a pull day, where I do some rowing and some legs. So it's just, it kind of evens out, it kind of evens out a little bit. I'm not in the gym, burning my chest and triceps out 5 days a week. I alternate a little. So, yeah, so we're here. Hopefully I'm allowed some redemption today in the gym and I get to like record a little bit with my microphone because I didn't get to do that the other day because of all sorts of just different hoops that I forgot to jump through. So yeah, I mean, we're going to go in here, we're going to get warmed up, and then hopefully I'll see you guys inside on the bench for a little bit of Larson and a little bit of incline to get things started. There we go. All right, this is the second set. I did the first set at 185, and it feels a little spicy, you know. Feels a little spicy. Incline bench has been humbling me this block, so, or this whole program cycle, really. I haven't really progressed up past 185, just because 185 feels tough, so there's really no reason to. We're gonna see. This is the second set, 6. So, see what we can bang out here. It's very humbling, you know. I started off strong and then got by like, I don't know, rep 3 or 4. Like, it's a bit of a grind, but in order to keep the intensity up a little bit so that I'm not just benching 185 on this week after week after week, I'm going to bump this last set up to 190. Just, you know, oh, it's only 5 pounds. What difference is that going to make? Well, you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. These little 2.5 pound plates, this is what PRs are made of right there. That's the difference between a PR and a, you know, not a PR, I guess. So you got to respect even the smallest little change plate weights. especially when I'm as like my chest and tris are as fatigued as they are after Larson press and after 2 sets of incline. You know, if I was fresh, could I do more than this? Probably, but I'm not fresh. So, you know, excuse me. And then after I get done with this set, we'll unload the 25s and just do a plate on each side, and then, you know, I'll rip that for as many as I can, basically. It's a little burnout set I like to do on incline bench. But all right. I'm not really sure how long. I'm supposed to rest 90 seconds. I don't really know how long it's been. I haven't really been counting. I've been talking, so we're just gonna send it. I think it's been long enough. We're just gonna send it, and we're gonna see. Hopefully, you don't witness me dying on camera. Last set of 6. Here goes nothing. A little better than I thought. And now, take note of the time so we can rest the appropriate amount. Take all this off. Thought I was going to have a neighbor for a second, but she walked away. She probably saw the setup and was like, nah. Oh. There's nothing. Oh, god dang. 18. I'll take it. You can take that all day. All right. Kind of been letting the diet go a little, so we'll see.
side looks so much more like, doesn't look as good.
All right. Well, I'd say it was a good reintroduction into, what was my favorite day of the week? Pump day, today was my day. It's a secondary upper body day. So it's always been kind of my excuse to, like, you know, chase a pump. So, and that's exactly what I did today, honestly. I was just kind of chasing a pump. No regrets. But yeah, everything felt good, everything felt good. I did, after I cut the video off on the incline bench, I did, uh, well, not cable rows, but rows on there's a machine in there. I did rows on, and then I did front raises, front lat raises. What the hell? Front raises, front delt raises. And then moved into, I was supposed to do preacher curls, like tempo preacher curls, but the preacher curl thing, station was taken. So I just did, there's a curl machine in there. And so I just did that. It's a double handle, so it's not a single, it's a, not a single handle. It's double handed, but both handles are working the same weight, right? So like if I put 80 on the stack, I kind of like, I liken that to, you know, putting weight on like an easy bar and then doing that with both hands, because both of my arms, though they're moving independently, um, they're moving the same kind of weight. I guess the independently part is a little, you know, I guess not optimal for preachers, but whatever. We got it done. Had to sub something, so I did. And then after that, we did skull crushers. I did skull crushers with 27 and a half pounds on each side of the easy bar. So I don't know what that works out to total, but that's what I put on each side. That's how I track my weight in the gym, especially on like stuff like that. Um, I'll write down if I do skull crushers with a 25-pound plate on each side, I'll just write down in my notes, with 25s or at 25, something like that. I'll just denote the singular plate that I put on each side, or the weight that I put on each side of the bar, rather than the total weight. Whereas on like bench press or any compound, really, I'm tracking it as, since it's a percentage of my 1 rep max anyways, I just track it. If it's prescribed at, like today my Larsons were 245, I'll just track it as 245 on my notes. So yeah, so there's that little tangent there. But yeah, all in all, I think a good day at the gym. I've been a little loose with my diet recently, like the last week probably, just because my mother-in-law was in town. She left yesterday, but my mother-in-law was in town, and whenever she comes to town, typically everyone's diet in the house becomes a little loose, lackadaisical, if you will. We don't really, at least for me, I go from doing pretty good, and I still do okay with my diet because I'm still eating breakfast and I'm still eating lunch, so I'm still getting like at a minimum 150 grams of protein in. But then, there are some times where like she wants to go get kolaches because she can't get kolaches where she's from, so she wants to go get kolaches. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna not eat a kolache, So I go and I have 2 or 3 kolaches, and I got to track that. And now I'm at 1,000 calories for the day and only like 40 grams of protein. So it just, it's some give and take, but it's all about sustainability. And, I think that's what's important. I'm enjoying my life, and I'm also, um, working towards a goal. I also, have an absolutely mid physique to reflect my choices in life. So I'm happy with it though, I guess. You got to learn to be happy with what you got. But anyways, yeah. So she was in town like Tuesday night. We went and got Mexican food. for dinner, and I had a margarita. And so, I didn't track the margarita. I don't even think I tracked the Mexican food. But it's just, my diet's been lax. We've been doing stuff. We went to the beach a couple days last week. So the diet has sort of taken a bit of a back seat, but I control what I can control. I look for extra protein wherever I can get it. If I can drink a little Fairlife Pro Core Elite, whatever the hell it is, and get 42 grams of protein in, and then I snack on like a meat stick or something just to get a little extra protein in. So just what you gotta kind of learn to do is like look for the higher protein snacks that you enjoy. Grab a freaking protein bar at the gas station instead of a bag of candy. Grab a Fairlife instead of a Coke or some other sugary drink, a tea or lemonade, whatever. Grab a Fairlife. I'm not saying you can't have the Coke, just maybe get a Coke Zero and a Fairlife or something to that effect. Grab some beef jerky instead of some Lifesavers or Sour Patch Kids or whatever. Just about swapping out some decisions. Again, not saying you can't have that stuff. God knows I'm not perfect when it comes to my diet, but especially when you're traveling, especially when you're not at home, you're out of your routine, you're not, I'm an absolute slut for my routines, dude. I cannot, if I didn't have a routine that I did every single day, I would, I don't think I mean, I think I would just kind of fall apart, honestly. I have to have a routine. And when you're outside of that, I think most people do. Even if you don't recognize the routine, subconsciously, I think a lot of people go through sort of the same actions and motions and activities every day. And once you get outside that, you start traveling, going on vacation, whatever, you're away from home, you're out of your routine. I think it becomes, um, it's about just sort of, it's about enjoying the time there, but also trying to just, make those little tweaks. Make a little tweak to your diet. Like I said, just make better choices. If you stop at a gas station on the way to the beach or something, grab a Fairlife. That's, again, not saying you can't have the Coke. Grab both. If you can swing it financially, grab both. I know those Fairlifes. They're pretty proud of their stuff. They're getting a little out of control. I think I paid $5 for one of those Core Power Elite ones with the 42 grams of protein. It's like $5, dude. Give me a break, man. It's insane for a ready to drink protein shake. What is going on here? Why are you parked right there? Sorry, mess on the roads today in the neighborhood. But and longevity, sustainability, and there's another C word that I'm looking for. Not consistency, but just I don't know. Maybe balance is what I'm after. I don't know. There's I think a lot of people out there will tell you that that's not the answer. That you shouldn't do that. Um, that's the cause of all your problems, right? Like that having too much balance or having too much, you know, God, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a specific word. There are people out there that will tell you if you get too comfortable and you start giving yourself too much breathing room, right? Like if the goal is longevity and you decide you're going to have one beer a night or two beers a night or whatever, you're going to have some candy here and there, that the sustainability aspect of dieting is what digs you into the hole, right? That gets you into a place that you don't want to be in the first place. And I think there's some truth to that. People give themselves a lot of slack when it comes to dieting. And I think that flex dieting, right? Macro tracking is a great way to sort of justify shitty decisions. At least if you're inexperienced with it, you kind of let yourself slide. You're like, well, if it fits my macros, and then before you know it, it doesn't fit your macros, and you're right back where you started. So I think that there's something to be said for, having that discipline to understand that, yes, you can, it's sustainable, but sustainable does not mean, eating like garbage, right? It's not an excuse to just eat like shit all the time. There is some level of balance that you have to maintain, right? And I think that the people that preach that, you need to not have, you need to have zero balance, right? It's either all or nothing. I think that that's the wrong way to look at it. I think that because I've been on both sides of the spectrum, right? A few years ago, I was all about making like high protein versions of my favorite foods and stuff. And I was the dude making like high protein Pop Tarts, high protein pizza, high protein, and all this other crap. You get all these um, influencers on social media that are making these high protein meals of like cereal and Hostess cakes and all this other shit. And I've done that, right? And then you kind of come to realize that maybe some of the ingredients in there are just not that great for you, right? And I think that you can do both. On the opposite side of that aisle, well, it's actually more of like a trifecta, right? So you've got those people, and then you have like, you know, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like I don't know, the Paul Saladinos of the world that kind of tell you like you should not be eating anything if it doesn't come from an animal or from like a fruit bearing tree. If it's has anything else in it, it's bad for you. You're gonna die. And I don't think that's the case either. I do think that those foods are, in terms of like the quality of the calories, I think they're better for you. But I think the idea that you're gonna die if you eat a bag of Skittles is a little ridiculous. Um, and then you've got the other people who are like kind of in the same camp as the Saladinos of the world, but where they're just like they're very like science based, and everything has to be like perfect, and your macros have to be this. And well, actually, did you know that fructose breaks down into glucose and the hydrogen molecule of this atom? And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up, nerd. Shut up, nerd. No one cares, right? I'm not that into it. You're honestly, if you're probably not that into it, it's just there's too much there, right? And so they overcomplicate things. And I think there's a sweet medium in those three camps where you've got to find the sustainability aspect, right? Enjoying the food you love, which is the first one, right? The influencers that are making all these weird high protein Pop Tarts. So enjoying the foods that you like, just eat the Pop Tart. It doesn't need to be high protein. Just eat the Pop Tart. If you enjoy Pop Tarts, eat it, right? Then you got to cross over with the Saladino camp that says you need to eat only animal bearing or only animal based foods or fruit or honey. I would agree. Those foods are good for you, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, lean ground beef or honey or an apple, anybody that tells you fruit is bad for you, fucking run, dude. Run the other way. I think those foods should be prioritized. Don't get me wrong. And then you have some science based in there. You got to kind of find a happy medium there too, where you understand like, hey, carbs fuel workout. It's your body's preferred source of energy. You should probably prioritize carbs around working out. If you're going to do low intensity cardio, if it's going to burn more fat. If you're higher body fat percentage, you probably don't want to eat too many carbs because people that are higher body fat tend to be more insulin resistant. Just there are some things that are valuable from that camp. But if you dive too deep into it, dude, you start trying to reinvent the wheel, and you start trying to perfect every little bit of things. And what I think is more important than being perfect at any one of those three little like disciplines of fitness is just being consistent. You know, eat the foods you love, prioritize whole foods, and don't worry too much about the small stuff, but understand some of the scientific basics. And if you can do that, those three things, I think you're golden. Don't sweat the small stuff. Like, don't try to be perfect, because you're not going to be. There's always going to be some new thing that you want to do or some new influencer telling you that you're doing it wrong. Don't sweat it, man. Just find what works for you and execute every single day. Execute, execute, execute. That's all you have to do, you know. And too many people try to overcomplicate it. Too many people try to reinvent the wheel. Too many people are just out here, selling snake oil essentially. And you got to watch out for those people, man. It's really not that hard. It's not what's the saying? It isn't it isn't difficult, but it is simple or something like that. It's not hard, but it is difficult. I don't remember the exact saying, but basically, don't overcomplicate things. There's no reason to. But anyways, I'll get off my little soapbox now. Thanks again for coming to my most recent TED Talk. I'm almost home. I've been driving in circles talking about that for like 10 minutes now. So I'm going to go eat because I do have a meeting to get to. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for deadlifts. We're going to have some deadlifting fun tomorrow. And yeah, should be a good day. I will. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you still watching. I do appreciate that. And, we will see you. We will see you tomorrow for a fun-filled day of deadlifting. Later.